blowing in drifts and covering all of the ground. And we've had a hard rain, coming in from the east, up through the gorge, demanding to be released. There's a hard freeze, nights here sure to get cold, but underneath something waits to take hold and live again. Let's go back to happy September, golden days that we will remember, back where our love still grows, and be mine, November rose. Sunlight opens his heart, a shining door, giving us a new start, and love again. A flower with hope will survive, and wait till it's time for the best to arrive and live again. Let's go back to happy September, golden days that we will remember, back where our love still grows, and be mine, November rose. Hard east winds, well, they can be freezing, hard to know just what to believe in. Put on your winter clothes and be mine, November rose.
Casey Craine on River City Folk at Artichoke Music in Portland, Oregon. So good to have you here. And Casey, when I heard that song the first time, which is the first song on your new album that has just been released today, the name of the album is Found a Miracle. That song is called November Rose. But when I heard that song, I thought to myself, well, there's a song about being joyful about emerging from these last couple of years of being in a forced situation of not being able to play music and go to music and see our friends.
Yes, very much so. COVID was tough for us musicians. You know, we had to put our guitar cases away and sequester ourselves, really. And I was really wondering where music would fit in my life, continued. And you know, I've been playing guitar. I had to do a calculator out. My first professional gig was 48 years ago. And during COVID, it was difficult for all of us. And what I realized was that I needed to do more of what made my heart sing and less of the worrying. And so I then endeavored to say, all right, then let's get the guitar back out, and let's see what happens. And the idea of November Rose is just that it can be a hard winter, it can be a very difficult time, but if you are a flower with hope, you will survive and will bloom again. And that's what November Rose is about, and that's what I'm about.
Well, I'm excited about this new album of yours. It's got some just terrific tunes on it, as that one is that we just heard, and we'll be hearing and talking about more of those in just a moment. But as I always ask folks to do, you brought in some recordings that have meant a lot to you. And this first recording is sung by Arlo Guthrie, but of course, written by my old Chicago pal, Steve Goodman, way back when. And this is a song that's meant so much to so many people, and so many people have had hits with it that many folks have no idea where the song comes from or who wrote it. But Steve Goodman was actually on the train when he wrote this song on the way south, and the car that he wrote this song on is still on a tourist railroad in Colorado. And you can sit there where he wrote this song. This is Arlo Guthrie doing his hit version of the City of New Orleans. How did you come to decide upon this song?
Why
as
this
important
song? If you ask what music inspired me young, it would be Arlo Guthrie as the number one choice for me. My sister is older than me, and she would bring home these records, you know, the Beach Boys and Peter, Paul, and Mary, and one of them was Alice's Restaurant. And of course, we all know Alice's Restaurant, of course, but and I loved the great finger picking and the storytelling. It just really inspired me. I was just a kid, just a nipper. But on the flip side of Alice's Restaurant, less people know this, but are some really wonderful songs. And of course, Arlo went on to create a number of really great albums with a number of great players that we know. And so when you asked what songs inspired you, it had to be an Arlo Guthrie song. And if it has to be an Arlo Guthrie song, it has to be City of New Orleans.
Riding on the city of New Orleans, Illinois Central, Monday morning.
I don't worry about what happened today. I just get my guitar out and begin to play. I'm not crying the blues. I'm gonna pick myself up by my blue suede shoes. If you give me lemons, I'll make lemonade. If you make it hot, I'm in the shade. When I've got a problem and I need someone, I get my guitar out and I get my fretting done. I'm not anxious, I'm never bored. I just get my guitar out and I strum a chord. I'm not nervous, I'm not in a tiff. I just warm my fingers up and I play a riff. My constant companion every day. Open up the case and just begin to play. When I've got a problem and I need someone, I get my guitar out and I get my fretting done. All right, here I go. I'm feeling better. How about you? It's gonna be okay. Bring on the dark clouds and make it rain. I've got no fear that the sun will shine again. Now if you've lost direction, lost your way, my suggestion is you get a guitar and learn to play. Feel the vibration and sing a new tune. My prediction is your troubles will disappear real soon. Put your arms around the body every day. Open up the case, just begin to play. When I'm feeling lonely and I need someone, I get my guitar out and I get my fretting done. I get my guitar out and I get my fretting done. Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
You are listening to River City Folk. I'm your host, Tom May, a weekly program of live performance, musical influences, and interview this week from Powell Boulevard in Portland, Oregon at Artichoke Music. So good to have some folks out and about on a rainy October day, as it should be, with my good friend Casey Craine, premiering some of his new songs from his newest release. Casey, you've been in music for a long time, and down in the Bay Area, where you inhabited the streets for a good number of years, you had some success early on with your band and with the songs that you wrote, opening for people like Huey
Lewis?
Yes, Huey Lewis and the News. I wanted to say Huey Newton and the Lose, and I knew that wasn't right. I knew that was incorrect. But anyway,
We
you
opened
had
for them too.
I think that's who I opened for back then. But you had some early success with them, and with that whole scene down there, and in the music business, and making your way successfully as a full-time artist. And then you decided to kind of leave it behind for a more settled, and some might say responsible life. I wouldn't say that, but some would. What was the pivotal point which made you decide you would go back and write this whole batch of new songs, and some of these songs that you've recorded over the last 5-10 years, and come back more to the soul of this music that you love so much?
Well, it never left me. I just put it in the closet for a while. As you mentioned, I had worked very hard for about 10 or 12 years in California, and had some modest success, but then realized it was time to grow up. Really, I'd been turned down by all the best record companies, and I'm an Oregon kid, so I decided I would go back to Oregon, and indeed I did, and I met a wonderful woman, Allison, and we started a family. I went to grad school, started a business, and really just concentrated on being a dad and a husband. But I knew that fire inside was not out, and in 2019, the kids pretty much grown now. I wrote and produced an album called Blame It on the Rain, which was then scheduled to release March 13th, 2020. Not great timing, because they shut the entire country down. And so Blame It on the Rain has also been an album that just basically sat as well as I did. And as I mentioned earlier, I began to wonder, well, maybe that's it for me. But I realized that I needed to do more of what made my heart sing. And so that's where these new songs came from, and a rekindling of being a songwriter and a guitarist. And so here I am today with the new album, Found a Miracle.
And it's a nice batch of music. I enjoy it so very much, Casey, and so glad you're on the program today. You have brought in another recording for us to hear, and this is a Bruce Springsteen song that I had forgotten about until I went back and listened to it when I got the list from you. This is called Moonlight Motel, and I can't even remember which album this is off of, but it's a wonderful piece of music. Out of all Bruce Springsteen songs, all the way from the Nebraska-era acoustic songs up to his more popular hits, he's got such a breadth of material. What made you choose this particular song as one that's important to you?
Oh, I think it's one of the best Bruce Springsteen songs he's written, and it is off the album Western Stars. It came out a few years ago, and it is a wonderful album. I loved the whole album because of the way it was produced. His voice, the writing, the characters throughout, the theme throughout the album, and the use of strings, which was predominantly a throwback to those old days of the Gordon Lightfoot days, the Jimmy Webb days, and I wanted to do that. And with November Rose in particular, I went for that kind of sound. But what is it? Moonlight Motel. Moonlight Motel is this wonderful song that's just full of yearning and passion and regret, and as only Springsteen can do it. And if you haven't considered Springsteen as a folk artist, this album should really cement him in that pantheon and as one of the best songs I think he's ever done. So I was pleased to bring it in and inspire people with it.
There's a place on a blank stretch of road where nobody travels, nobody goes.
If they send me to St. Peter, I'm gonna look him in the eye and tell old Pete to hit the street, 'cause I'm too young to die. I'll burn my candle at both ends and live with no regret. And carpe diem one more time, 'cause you know I ain't dead yet. If I wind up in Valhalla and see all my loved ones there, I'll tell that fearsome Odin king to bless them with a prayer. But to all of his Valkyries I must give them one regret. One last fallen warrior, 'cause you know I ain't dead yet. And in my time of dying, put no stone upon my head. Just plant a rose bush in the ground, feed it my bones instead. And when the last bloom fades away, make one fine last rosette. But don't hold your breath, 'cause you know I ain't dead yet. If I get lost down in the underworld with Dante as my guide, I'll tell his old friend Virgil to find a way we haven't tried. When my 9 lives are over, I'll have the devil place his bet. 'Cause I've got one trick up my sleeve, you know I ain't dead yet. And if all my earthly atoms wind up in a big black hole, gone so far those digits are what's left of my own soul, I'll light a fire back to this world with a blaze you won't forget, and burn up on my way back home, 'cause you know I ain't dead yet. And in my time of dying, put no stone upon my head. Just plant a rose bush in the ground, feed it my bones instead. And when the last bloom fades away, make one fine last rosette. But don't hold your breath, 'cause you know I ain't dead yet. I'll burn my candle at both ends and live with no regret. But don't hold your breath, 'cause you know I ain't dead yet. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Casey Craine on River City Folk with Words to Live By. I ain't dead yet.
That's right.
I was waiting to say that the whole song, Casey. Really a great, great tune. Really enjoyed it. Casey Craine with Ain't Dead Yet, and that was preceded by a recording by Bruce Springsteen, The Moonlight Motel. You are listening to a weekly broadcast of live performance, musical influences, and interview from Portland, Oregon, now in its 37th year of bringing you music that makes a difference. Thank you so much for being here. The live audience this afternoon, and also people listening around the country and overseas to Casey Craine today. Casey, you've got this song for us that we're going to hear that you mentioned has a story that precedes it. And it's a song that I gather must have something to do with your dad's old guitar. Was your father a guitar player?
No, he isn't, and no, it isn't. But I do have, I can tell you, I received a call a while back from a friend, who knew I was a guitar player, and or is a guitar player, and she had a guitar that was her husband's guitar, and unfortunately her husband passed away, and so she was reaching out to me and saying, well, I've got this guitar, what is it? Is it worth anything? Should I sell it? If I sell it, how much? And what should I do? And I tried to encourage her as best I could, even to keep the guitar and to play it or to pass it down. They didn't have any kids. And I don't know what became of the guitar. But I started thinking, what would happen to my guitars? What will happen to my guitars? Diamond here, who's with me today. What will happen to Diamond when I leave this mortal coil? And we all love our guitars. Tom, you love your D41, and we even name our guitars. They become part of our family. They become like our pets or our children or even our spouse. A much more intimate relationship with a guitar than you would have, say, with a piece of furniture, for example. So what would happen to my guitars when I am no longer here? And luckily I have two kids that both play the guitar, and so I hope that they'll take them. But whoever gets Diamond and my other guitars, I hope that they play them and that they live a life beyond mine. And so this is a song about that.
Casey Craine on River City Folk with a song called Daddy's Old Guitar.
In the corner of the closet, in a corner tucked away, I found an old black case the other day. It wasn't much to look at, it wasn't much to see. Most folks would have thrown that old black case away, with its rusty silver latches and lots of dents and scratches, and a lopsided lid that shuts down a little too far. But I knew it in a moment, the moment I opened up the case to Daddy's old guitar. Inside was an old brown Martin, made out of wood and steel, that my daddy used to play for us at night. When he'd put his kids to bed, he'd play a song or two and tuck us under the covers nice and tight. And he'd sit out in the hallway just to keep us kids' bad dreams away, and we'd make him promise not to go too far. And we'd listen in the darkness, those songs were like dreams to us at night on Daddy's old guitar. Then one night, Daddy didn't come home. home. The doctor said there was nothing more that could be done. He left that old black case alone. There were no more songs left to be sung that night. That night on Daddy's old guitar. Well, I finally learned to play it a couple months ago, just trying to play a bit like Daddy did. And it feels good in my fingers, feels good in my soul, to take that old black case out from where it hid. And now I play for my kids the same songs that my daddy did. When I leave the door ajar and sit out in the hallway just to keep those bad dreams away with the songs I play on Daddy's old guitar. With the songs I play on Daddy's old guitar. Thank you. Thank you.
You are listening to River City Folk from Talkeetna, Alaska to West Palm Beach, Florida. I'm your host, Tom May. Casey Craine played that song for you called Daddy's Old Guitar. Casey, I got actually a little choked up during that song, just thinking about the emotions behind it and thinking about my son playing my ancient old Martin D28. It's amazing how much the box that we use to put our feelings into, we become attached to. So I think that depicted that very, very well.
Conduit to your heart, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And the music is a conduit to our hearts and to our relationships to other people. So on a day like this, with your new album being released, it has to be a really liberating feeling to be at that point where you say to yourself, well, we got through this last period of time and people are listening to my songs again, and I can put myself in a very, very constant way into the music and in front of people again.
It is a wonderful feeling to be here today with these wonderful people, and some of my family is here, and it is a liberation of, we were mentioning conduit to your heart. It is a liberation of my heart, these songs. It is an expression of who I really am inside, for better or for worse, and it means something to me. And so I feel like if my music means something to me and touches me, then I'm hoping that it will touch other people and help perhaps liberate their heart a little bit as well.
And I'm sure that's the case, Casey. You brought in another recording for us to hear that has meant a difference to you as a musician and as a songwriter. And it's by someone that my wife is actually crazy about. I drove her to a concert. I never had a girl. I only had one boy as a child, but I felt like I was taking my teenage daughter to a concert and dropping her off when Miranda Lambert played at the big casino up here not so long ago. She was so excited about going, and as I was saying in a little aside before we hear this song, I'm pretty sure I never would have heard it had not my wife been such a fan. But it is a really good song, and it really touched you as a songwriter.
It's a killer song. I think one of the best songs written, in my opinion. I grew up in Medford, Oregon, and left Medford many years ago. And a few years back, went down with my family and went to that old house that I grew up in. And I pulled up into the driveway, and I was just gonna stay for a second. And the lady that lived in the house came out, as you do when there's a stranger pulled up into your driveway sitting there. And so I got out. I said, "Hey, you don't know me, but I grew up in this house. Do you mind if I just, am here showing my family?" And she was reticent, to have me there. But she said, "Well, would you like to take a look around? I won't let you inside, but I'll let you look around." And sure enough, I got to walk around a little bit, and she didn't even want my kids and my wife to go. She was very private, but very kind to let me visit. And which we did and left, and it was great. Then only a day or two later, I'm driving down the road, I don't know, going to the grocery store or whatever. On comes this Miranda Lambert song, "The House That Built Me." And it was a perfect encapsulation of that story, a wonderfully written song. And of course, Miranda Lambert just is a wonderful singer. I had to pull off on the side of the road and let that song play. And so that's why I was pleased to bring it in as one of my songs today.
I know they say you can't go home again. I just had to come back one last time.
The smell of fresh cut grass, a baby smiling, laundry hanging out on the line. The day is moving fast, the sun is setting and the wind's blowing through the pines. First rose of spring, neighbor kids are laughing at the dog running round in the yard. On the old front porch swing, nothing really happens and life don't seem so very hard. Open up your eyes to the wonder, hold on tight. Wrap your arms around it and don't let it get away. Keep it in sight. Don't let nothing happen and go in all the way. You found yourself a miracle today. A million little stars sparkle in the darkness and a crackling bright campfire. Old friends and old guitars, an old-time folk song, and the wind just keeps rising high. And high up in the trees, twilight breezes blowing in an autumn scented sky. With a lover in your arms, breathing slowly, time just seems to pass you by. Open up your eyes to the wonder, hold on tight, and wrap your arms around it and don't let it get away. Keep it in sight. Don't let nothing happen and go in all the way. You found yourself a miracle today. Well, rare are the times when you find peace of mind. Hold on tight, wrap your arms around it and don't let it get away. Keep it in sight. Don't let nothing happen and go in all the way. You found yourself
Casey Craine on River City Folk, live from Artichoke Music in Portland, Oregon, the City of Roses. There are some folks this afternoon who have attended many of the radio programs throughout the pandemic here, which we kept on going by and large through that very, very fraught period. And it is a miracle that we made it, that Artichoke Music made it, and it's a miracle to have Casey Craine with us this afternoon. And thanks for that beautiful song of affirmation. And music is nothing if not a miracle. The way it affects us, the way that it goes to the very inner part, the most private sanctums within us and makes us feel. It truly is a miracle. Beautiful piece of work there, Casey.
Thank you, Tom.
You've got one more recording for us to hear today, and I don't know if we've had more than one or two mentions of this woman on the program since I began doing it all those years ago. Eva Cassidy is this great, talented singer's name, and I'm sure many of you know who she is. She was not alive long enough to grace us with much of her music and interpretations of other folk songs, but anybody who has heard her can't forget the power and beauty of her music. When did you first become introduced to Eva Cassidy's music?
Well, I ran into Eva Cassidy's version of this song because I love Somewhere Over the Rainbow. It's my favorite song. I grew up watching Wizard of Oz and, of course, the Judy Garland great version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I think it's wonderful melody, wonderful lyrics, and I love the song. And then all of a sudden, I run across Eva Cassidy's version. And oh my goodness, Eva Cassidy, if you know her music, you know what a wonderful performer and guitar player and singer she is. And what I love about this song, it combines it because I love the song to begin with. Her version is not at all like Judy Garland's version, and which I love. It is 100% Eva Cassidy that's singing the song. And to me, that's a great inspiration whenever I sing someone else's song. I do not want to do it like they did it. I want to do it 100% like Casey Craine does it, for better or for worse. And I think that's hopefully, in her case, a mark of a true artist.
Eva Cassidy on River City Folk with her version of the standard Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
The rainbow way.
Little bird, please talk to me. Where do you fly and how high? Little bird, where do you go? Above the clouds, beyond the doubts. Well, a little bird told me so. Little bird, why do you sing? What's in a song that carries on? Little bird, what do you know? How to be and be free? Well, a little bird told me so. Afraid, and I pray, little bird, must let go and fly away. Plans are made. Well, a little bird told me so. Fly away, plans are made. Well, a little bird told me so.
Casey Craine on River City Folk with Little Bird. He was preceded by Eva Cassidy and her timeless version of the standard Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Casey Craine has been my guest today on the program, and Casey, I was just so delighted we were able to make this happen. We've been talking about it for a few years, having you on the program, and it was just the perfect time. What wound up being the perfect day for it as you released this brand new CD, which is called Found a Miracle. We heard that song earlier in the program, but just in case you're tuning in just now, you can also access the recording and find out more about Casey's music at his website. And what is that website, Casey?
You can find it at kcpdx.net. It's like KC, Kansas City, Portland, PDX.net. KCPDX.
And check it out. It's a pretty exciting time for you after having that other album on the back burner during the pandemic and then releasing this album and having them both really come out at the same time and be really available to people as you begin to go out and perform more. So what is next for you right now?
Well, I'm always writing songs. I think you inspired me with something you said earlier I wrote down, and so be aware that you may indeed be encapsulated in a song. But I have the pleasure of playing in a band with two of my buddies, the Deck Boys. We are working on songs and been playing around in Portland, so I'm hoping that we will be releasing an album perhaps in the near future. And then who knows where my life may take me. It's a musical journey that you never know what will happen.
But the one thing you do know is that when you do play music and you put it out there, you could find a miracle.
You can. It's every day.
Along the way. Casey Craine, you got one more song for us to sing, for us to hear you sing today. What is this final song going to be?
This song is from my album Blame It on the Rain that was shelved by COVID. This was the first song I wrote for Blame It on the Rain, first song I recorded, and so I thought I'd play it now. It's called I Don't Mind.
Great to have you on the program today. Let's have one more round of applause before he plays it for Mr. Casey Craine.
Thank you.
I don't mind if you stay out all night long, never answer your telephone. I love you, baby, I don't mind. I don't care about those text messages late at night, long as you tell me that it's alright. You see, I love you, baby, I don't mind. You see, I believe it, I won't believe it. I'm hopelessly stuck on you. My love's at stake now. I must have faith now that someday you will love me too. I don't care if you delete me from your Facebook friends, 'cause my devotion to you never ends. You see, I love you, baby, I don't mind. All right, bring on the band. You see, I believe it, I won't believe it. I'm hopelessly stuck on you. My love's at stake now. I must have faith now that someday you will love me too. I don't care if you delete me from your Facebook friends, 'cause my devotion to you never ends. You see, I love you, baby, I don't mind. I love you, baby, I don't mind.